بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على رسوله محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أحييكم إخواني وأخواتي، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته، وأهلا وسهلا ومرحبا بكم إلى درسنا 17 لدروس في اللغة العربية. وفي الأسبوع الماضي لقد تكلمت عن الفعل الثلاثي المزيد، وبالخصوص الفعل تفعل. وقد قلت بأن هذا الفعل لا بد أن ننظر إلى كل هذه الأفعال الثلاثية المزيدة بالنسبة إلى الماضي والمضارع والأمر والمصدر، اسم الفاعل، اسم المفعول. هذه المشتقات كلها هي أهم المشتقات من الفعل الثلاثي المزيد، وطريقتها طريقة سهلة جدا بخلاف الفعل الثلاثي المجرد، بحيث أن هذه المشتقات تختلف تماما. أما هذه الأفعال الثلاثية المزيدة فطريقتها طريقة واحدة، كل شيء ينطبق على الفعل بنفس الطريقة، وبهذه الطريقة طبعا يكون تصريف الفعل سهل جدا، والمشتقات كذلك يكون سهلا جدا. واليوم إن شاء الله سوف ننظر إلى فعل آخر، وهو فعل ثلاثي مزيد، ولكن من صنف آخر، وهو طبعا الفعل 3 أحرف: الفاء والعين واللام. هذا الثلاثي، ومن هذا يوجد أفعال كثيرة. نعم، فمثلا قلنا هنا فعل، وهنا عندنا فاعل، وعندنا أفعل، وهنا عندنا تفعل. واليوم إن شاء الله نتكلم عن تفاعل. اليوم سننظر إلى الفعل الثلاثي المزيد، وهو من هذا الصنف، تفاعل. وطبعا إن شاء الله في أفعال أخرى هنا وهنا وهنا في الأسابيع القادمة إن شاء الله سوف ننظر إليها. تفاعل. So we will have the red ta, fa, ala. So we have fa, a, la. Right? Ta, fa, a, la. That is the verb. Tafa'ala, this verb basically is a verb that is also reflexive, where one person is the doer and the next one is something done to the other one. And the one to whom it is done to is also the doer against the one who did it. So basically, it's like we are trying to outdo each other. So to give more clarity to what I'm saying, is that if we have the verb, let's say daraba. Daraba means he hit. Daraba, he hit. From this verb, which is thulathi mujarrad, we can make another verb by adding a ta, and after the first letter of the verb, the dot is the first letter of the verb, we have an extra alif. So we have tadaraba. Okay. Tadaraba. The difference between daraba daraba is I were to hit someone or I hit something. Daraba al-mudarrisu al-maktab means the teacher hit the desk. All right? So we say daraba. But tadaraba, it has the same root letters, daraba. So it has something about hitting. But the difference between this verb and this one is that this one is a mutual action where someone or people are hitting each other. So I hit you, you hit me back. All right? So we will say tadaraba al-waladan. The two boys hit each other. All right? So instead of using the verb daraba, like the two boys hitting each other, or the two boys hit each other, in saying it with a whole long sentence, we can make the sentence very short by using a different verb. And this is the verb. So what you have to understand from this type of verb, basically, is when something is done mutually. Both individuals are doing the same thing to each other. All right? Another example. If you have the verb sa'ala. Sa'ala means to ask. You remember? Sa'ala sa'ilun bi'adhabin waqi'. All right? All right. So sa'ala means to ask. From sa'ala, we have the ta at the beginning, ta, and then we have the sin, okay? And then we have an extra alif, the additional alif. So the additional alif is after the first letter of the original verb. So there is a letter that comes before the first letter, which is the ta, and there is an extra alif after the first letter. So this is the first letter, and there's an extra alif. And then the remaining of the letters, the remaining two letters, all right? So we have the verb tasa'ala. So what would be the meaning of tasa'ala if you have understood what I have just mentioned here? Tafa'ala. Well, how would you understand tasa'ala? Huh? Right. To ask each other, one another, to ask one another. I ask you and you ask me. Okay? So that is mutual. So there is a mutual action, and that action will be whatever the root meaning is. Okay? And to bring more clarity to all of this, we would look at examples from the Quran, and then we will try to understand the ayat and the words in the surah. All right? But before we go to the ayat, we will go back to our normal table, all right, in which we'll have the perfect tense, al-madi, wal-mudari', the imperfect tense, wal-amr, the imperative, wal-masdar, the verbal noun, ismul fa'il, the active participle, if ismul maf'ul, the passive participle. You have to remember those grammatical terms. All right? So we have here al ma di. Okay? Al mudari'. Al amru. Al masdar. Ism al fa'il. Ism al maf'ul. Sometimes they put the alif on it. All right, in style in Arabic, right? The style in the writing, sometimes they drop the alif. Like instead of putting the alif right next to the lam, sometimes they just do like that, right on it. But gradually we're going there, right? One by one. Okay, so what I'm saying, if we were to learn these main derivatives, these derivatives are common for all verbs that look like this. Okay? One way. And these verbs, they are easy to recognize. هذه الأفعال سهلة جدا لملاحظتها. All right? To notice them, to see them. You would notice them and you would know them because of the way how they look. You will normally see the ta, and you will see that extra alif, all right, in the word, within the word. Good? So al-madi will have tafa'ala. Okay? So I will use a different color for the extra letter, ta, all right? And then we have fa, and then we have an extra alif, okay? تفاعل. هذا الماضي. المضارع, all right? We're going to write in one color now. So you just, anything that is beyond the fa'ain lam will be extra, okay? Ya, ta, fa, ya, ta, fa, alu. Okay, so it is taf, tafa'ala, ya, tafa'alu, yatafa'alu. Okay, al-amr, tafa'al, tafa'al. المصدر تفاعل. 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 all right. اسم الفاعل متفاعل. And it is ism, so it will be a noun. متفاعل. And here is متفاعل. So متفاعل. There is a fatha there. All right? متفاعل. So that is the scale or the pattern of how the verb is conjugated and the different types of words that are formed from the word here. And of course, this is from, I write it in black, fa, ain, lam. Okay? So fa, ain, lam, that's the root. That is the thulathi, the 3 letters. From the 3, we got this. And then we do the different by the addition of the ya. All right? This one, we just drop out the ya and we have tafa'al. This is tafa'ul. What is the difference between this one and this one? This one ends with a sukoon. This is a command. This is a noun. Al-masdar is the verbal noun. So as long as it is a noun, it will take tanween. We could put alif lam here also, and we will drop the tanween. All right? And mutafa'ilun, we could drop out the tanween and just put a single dhamma if we put the alif lam here. Good? Then we could go and get the plural here also. All right? And the same thing goes here. Here we have a kasra for the ismul fa'il, kasra. The difference between the two of them is only this one vowel. This is a kasra here. This one has a fatha. These are signs that you have to remember to note the difference between two words, because that one vowel could cause the whole meaning to change. All right? Where you can make, as I said, the teacher the student. So when we're using this like a teacher and the taught, remember I told you how it is? Right. So now we're going to look for words in the Quran that comes maybe underneath any one of these, starting with one of the shortest surahs that you have all memorized, and it is Suratul, something looking like Tafa'ala, something. What is this? Suratul, huh? Takathur. Suratul Takathur. So, okay, let's write the word Takathur. All right, so we have Surah at Takathur. Where does this word fit in here in this whole table? Under what heading does the word Takathur fit in here? Huh? Al-Masdar. Ahsant. Al-Masdar. Because Al-Masdar is the verbal noun. So what we have here basically is just the addition of the alif and lam. Right? So then it will be what? All right? With a single here. Surah At-Takathur. So that Dhamma, sorry, the Dhamma is here for the tha. Surah Tut Takathuri. There's a kesra here. Mudafan, mudafun ilay. All right. Now, if we were to read from the beginning of this surah, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Al Ha Al, you have a Ha here. Kum. At Ta Ka Thur. All right, the Ha is a Aleph here. So you have Al Ha Kum. It's Kum, right? There's a Sukun. But because it came in contact with the Aleph and Lam, all right, I'm a little bit easy. Because it came in contact with the Aleph and Lam, all right, the Sukun came in contact with another Sukun. So this Sukun here now changed to a Dhamma. Okay? Because it came in contact with another Sukun. Takathur. So this word here, from the word lahu. I know it's lahu. What is lahu? Play and amusement. Right? That is the root for lahu. Lahu. So alha, al ha, to cause someone to play or to cause someone to divert them. And kum is you, all of you. All of you. So something has caused you, all of you, to be diverted, to become busy with play and so on. And what is this? What is it that has caused you to be diverted? At-takathur. So what is at-takathur now? So we have to break this down back, to take it back to its root, to 3 letters. So we do now some elimination. What are the letters we will eliminate from this? Tell me. Take out the alif and the lam. All right? What to take out again here? The ta and the aleph. So what do we have remaining? Call out the letters. What do you have remaining? Kaf, tha, and ra. So ka, thu, ra. Kathura is to become plenty. You know the word kathir? Plenty. So kathura is the verb. So it was from this verb that this verb was. So the verb here, this is the verbal noun, al-masdar. So what is the verb if we want to make this verb? What would be the verb from this? Right. We get ta, ka, thara. Ta, ka, thara. So how would you understand now, based on what I have just explained to you, that this type of verb, what does it do? It is something that is mutual. So in other words, I am trying to accumulate or to be something that is plentiful, whatever plentiful, I'm trying to do that. Plenty, accumulate plenty things. And what you doing? You're trying to do the same thing too. Right? So we are trying to outdo each other in accumulation of things. So when a translator has to translate this. Alhaakumut takathur is the mutual accumulation of things has diverted you. But you wouldn't see that in the translation of the ayah. You would see a long explanation basically. The translator might say, mutual rivalry for the accumulation of worldly gains have diverted you from the real object of life. Right? So, because it's difficult to translate those words in one or two words in English language. All right? So, where are we going to fit in the word at-takathur? On the verbal noun. All right? So, here. At-takathur. Surah at-takathur, which is Surah 102. Ayah number 1. Alhaakumut takathur. Okay? All right. Let us look at another example. We have a Quran here. Yes, we have a Quran. We're going to, if you have a Quran, inshallah, for the other sessions, you should try to work with your Quran, or if you have your, your phone, maybe you can look at Surah 57. Ayah number 20. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, He says, "I'lamu annama al-hayatu dunya." So let's write that. And you try to see if you can understand the meanings of the words. "I'lamu annamal hayat." It's written like this in the Quran, but we write it like this for easy reading. Dunya. "I'lamu annama al-hayatu dunya la'ibun wa lahwun." All right? La'ibun wa lahwun. La'ibun wa lahwun wa zinatun. All right? Wa tafakhurun bainakum. Wa tafakhurun bainakum. Wa takathurun fil amwali wal awlad. Right? Fil amwali wal awlad. Fi al amwal wa al awlad. And the ayah goes on. All right? So let's see how much you can pick up from this ayah. How many words and how many things you can understand? How many things you can understand? What is i'lamu? I'lamu. No. And who is singular, plural? What is this? Plural. So Allah is talking to all of us. All of you know, like we didn't know. So know now if you didn't know. All right? I'lamu annama al-hayatu dunya. Anna means that. And annama is confining this world to nothing else but only this, what he's mentioning. All right? That is what annama does. Innama and annama. It's called a particle of confinement, meaning exclusively only this. So annama means that or only that. Al hayatud dunya, we already know al hayatud dunya means the worldly life, the life of this world. The life, hayat means life, ad dunya, right? The life of this world, of the dunya. La'ibun, la'ibun. What is the meaning of la'ibun? From la'iba, which means to play. So la'ibun means play. And lahwun, what we just now say here? Huh? Play, amusement, diversion. It's diverting us from the real object. We were created to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? But this worldly life is a lot of diversion and play. So play and amusement and diversion. Wazinatun. What is zina? Huh? Adornment, decoration, right? Dressing up and doing all kind of things, right? Adornment and dressing. Watafakhurun. Tafakhur. Now, supposing we didn't know this word, we have to break it down. If we're going to break down this word, what are we going to remain with? And how are we going to break it down? What are we going to take away? Take out what from here? Ta and the alif. What we have remaining? Fa, kha, and ra. Fakhr. Pride. Pride. Right? Tafakhur now. Huh? What is the meaning of if fakhr means pride? Right. So trying to be proud in front of you and you trying the same thing. Right? So outdoing pride. All right? So outdo each other in pride. Bainakum. Among yourself. When it is two, you say between. When it is more than two, we say what? Among. Good? Among you, among yourselves. Watakathurun. So we have the same takathur here with the alif and lam, here without the alif and lam. Right? Tafa'ulun takathurun. All right? So that go in here too. Right? Takathurun. So takathurun means what again? Outdoing each other. Right? In accumulation. Accumulating of what? Worldly things. Right? Here it says, it gives us some explanation of what it is. Accumulation, plenty of what? Fil amwal, wealth. The plural of mal, amwal. Wal awlad, right? And children. Okay? Awlad. And then it says, Allah gives an example, كَمَثَلِ غَيْثٍ أَعْجَبَ الْكُفَّارِ nabat. All right? So we have a lot of things that we can get from the ayah there. So that is Surah 57, ayah number 20. Did you write down the reference? All right? Okay, let's move to another surah that you're also accustomed reading. Let's go to Surah Al-Mutaffifin. So we have the ayah, and then it says what? Wa fi dhalika fal ya ta fal ya ta na fas al mu ta na fi soon. So we have this word here, and we have this. So as you're going step by step in the language, you would also notice that here we have a fa, which we had spoken about some time before, I think, is a conjunction. Can you remember, or we didn't talk about that in module 1? Conjunction, fa. So, S-O, it means so. And sometimes it could mean then, depending on the context of what is coming before. And then this lam is also an extra letter. So let, it means let. If I say linajlis, let us sit. Let's sit. All right? Linaktub, let's write. Linashrab, let's drink. All right? So that lam, it means let us do whatever it is. Okay? And here is the verb. Ya ta na fas. يتنافس المتنافسون. So we have yatanafas fit in here where? Did you find the surah? Suratul Mutaffifin will be what number? 83, I think. Huh? 83, I think, huh? Mutaffifin. Right. Yatanafas. So because of this lam, right, there are certain other rules which we didn't talk about as yet. All right, but the rules coming in gradually one by one. All right. But we want to finish out the verb first, then we will talk about some other rules. But basically, what I want to indicate right now is because the lam here caused the dhamma from the verb, right, to change to a sukoon. The lam, that lam caused that. All right? So it was falyatanafas. Okay? The lam caused the verb to be in a different mood, which is basically the jussive mood. We didn't talk about that as yet. Okay? All right? The jussive mood is al-jazm. So the dhamma changed to a sukoon. And then two sukoons came together, right? The sukoon on the alif, the lam, al-mutanafis. Right? So we had to get rid of the first sukoon, and that's how you have a kesra there. So all of those things you would not notice. You just, what we see in the ayah is this, with the kesra there or none. But a lot of things happen to the verb, which you have to know the rules of grammar to understand how a kesra came there. All right? First, there was a sukoon. Why the verb took a sukoon when the verb should have a dhamma at the end? Is because of this lam. The lam affected the verb. All right? The lam caused the verb to go in a different mood. Sukoon. And then two sukoons came together, then it changed to a kesra. Now, so falyatanafas will come here. Mudari'. Al-mutanafisun now. Where would al-mutanafisun fit on this table? هذه الكلمة المتنافسون أين تقع؟ أين تقع في هذا الجدول؟ اسم الفاعل هنا. But it is plural, right? It is جمع مذكر السالم. It is the sound masculine plural. Right? And in Arabic it is called جمع مذكر السالم. So if we were to eliminate the alif and the lam, all right, we have mutanafisun. Mutanafisun. And plural, mutanafisun. Okay, so you have al-mutanafisun, the competitors. So in that and in that, so let the people who are competing with one another, let them compete. That they try to outdo one another. Competition in what? In good deeds. All right? So the dhalika, you have to go back to the ayah and see what they're talking about in that and in that. That the competitors. So we are all supposed to be, as believers, we are supposed to be what? Mutanafisun. Competing and racing with good deeds. All right? So you have mutanafisun. Surah 83, ayah 26. And we are still in Juz Amma. At the beginning of Juz Amma. Find the appropriate verb here. And tell me what it is. Huh? So Surah 78. Suratun An-Naba. Naba. 78. 1. All right. So we have Amma. Amma. All right. It is an plus ma, which is equal to amma, and then abbreviated to okay. So what is the meaning of an? About. Like an Abi Hurairah. An. About. Ma. What? About what? So an plus ma, you have idgham, assimilation, and it is normally like this. Amma. And sometimes both of them are used in the Quran many places. Amma or amma, shortened. The alif is shortened. All right? So Arabic words can also be abbreviated and shortened. Even in the Quran, you see it. So amma, about what? And then we have the verb that looks like this. Ya, ta. All right? And then sa, a, loon. Yatasa'alun. So you have yatasa'alun. So if we were to take away the waw and the noon, all right, we have yatasa'alu. Yatafa'alu. Yatasa'alu. Good? And we have the conjugation of the verb tasa'alun. Now, the root of yatasa'alun will be what? Sa'ala. And sa'ala means what? To ask. So what is the meaning of yatasa'alun now? ما معنى يتساءلون? If sa'ala means to ask, yatasa'alun will be what? They ask in what? Huh? Asking about? You are looking at the translation? No, Itano. No, but based on what I told you all the time, mutual. They're asking each other. All right, all them talking about it. What is that boy? What are they talking about? The Naba. Amma yatasa'alun. Anin Naba il Azim. This is great news. This, what is it? Like Yawm al Qiyamah. Right? So all of them, they're talking about it. They're asking each other. All right? They're asking each other. Remember, mutual, mutual. Good? So عما يتساءلون عن النبأ العظيم الذي هم فيه مختلفون. Right? In which they have different views on it. All right? And so on. Good. We're moving again. So yatasa'alun comes under here. So yatasa'alun. We have وتعاونوا على البر والتقوى. All right? Let's write this. Surah 5, Ayah 2. وتعاونوا على البر والتقوى ولا تعاونوا على الإثم and so on. والعدوان والعدوان. Okay. تعاونوا. Huh? Right. Cooperate. So تعاونوا from which root word? Call out the root letters. Huh? The root letters from this. Root letters alone. Ain, Waw, Noon. Awana. Help. Help. Aun. Good. And then we have, when we add the ta, what verb did we get from this and this? Ta'awana. Ta'awana. Good? So ta'awana means now what? What ta'awana means? To help each other. So what are we going to help each other with? What, this is a command, right? Command here. And it is plural. Allah is telling us. وَتَعَاوَنُوا. So we have to help out each other. In what? عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى. In piety and righteousness. All right? Or righteousness and piety. Good? In righteousness and piety. الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى. وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا. Well, we didn't have the negative imperative, which will be la. It is really la. Let me write first without the la. I'm going to write it here. So the command will be what? Ta'awanu. one, right? That is this. Ta'awan. Tafa'al ta'awan. That means help each other. Good? If I'm telling you now, don't help each other, we'll have la, ta, and then a ta again, tata'awan. La tata'awan. Good? La tata'awan. And plural will be la tata'awanu. But here you notice it doesn't have the ta. It only have one ta. That extra ta was omitted again for brevity. All right? So it's supposed to be wala. Well, this is Quran. We can't change it. We can't say it's supposed to be. This is how it is. All right? Allah's words cannot be changed. But normally, in the conjugation of the verb, we'll have an extra ta. But here, it doesn't have it. All right? It was dropped out for brevity. Wala tata'awanu, it is wala ta'awanu ala al-ithmi wal-udwan. So do not help out each other with wrongdoings, committing sins and in enmity and so on. So if somebody want to commit a sin, you don't go and encourage him to commit a next sin or more sin, and then he will encourage you to go and commit a sin too. Don't help out each other in that area, whether it is a sin or in enmity. All right? Here, what we have to cooperate in and help out each other in is acts of righteousness and piety. All right? Also in Surah Surah 83, also coming down to the end of the surah, وَإِذَا مَرُّوا بِهِمْ, what it is? يَتَغَامَزُونَ. So يَتَغَامَزُونَ, give me the root. Ghamaza. Sometimes the root may not have the exact meaning, but taghamaza is when you wink in with each other. So let me say all of us now, we are like friends together. All right, and somebody come in and we want to make a little fun of him, and so we doing so. You know, we giving sign and we winking, right? People do that. So yataghamazun means they're winking at each other, showing signs at each other. All right, in a kind of a mocking and degrading way, to put down those people. All right, so in today's class, you have learned about the verb tafa'ala, and you have understood, inshallah, from the conjugation, from the different derivatives that you can get. And of course, you have other examples like from Surah 4, Ayah 59, you can also check, right? وَإِن تَنَازَعْتُمْ تَنَازَعْ. Right, this is a ain. And then you have tanaza'a is a verb. And if you have, from that you have tanaza'tum. So tanaza'a is if you're trying to argue with each other and fighting with each other, like in words and in ideas and so on. You have difference of opinion on matters. All right? وَإِن تَنَازَعْتُمْ فِي شَيْءٍ. So if you have a difference of opinion, you're all quarreling and arguing about something, رُدُّوهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ. Then bring it back, send it back to Allah. How you send it back to Allah? You gotta check Quran. Check what the Quran says. Illahi wa rasulihi, and his messenger. See what the Prophet ﷺ said. right? So you have more examples. But what we have to remember now, tafa'ala, which is the perfect tense verb. Now you can conjugate the whole verb, tafa'ala. So if you want to look at the singular column, tafa'ala is for masculine, tafa'alat, all right? And then tafa'alta, tafa'alti, tafa'altu. Right? So you have the whole conjugation for just singular. And then you have the dual. And then you have the plural. That is only for this. And the mudari', same thing. And then here, you have the singular, dual, and plural. Like you have ta'awan, ta'awana, ta'awanu, right? And so on. And then the masdar is on. The masdar is only one. All right? Sometimes you could have the plural of the masdar. All right? And then here, mutafa'il, you could have the dual, mutafa'ilani, or you could have mutafa'ilatun, feminine. Then you could have mutafa'ilun, mutafa'ilat, all right? Song feminine plural, song masculine plural, and here the same thing like here. So all of those things. So sometimes you may be reading the Quran or a hadith and you come across a word, like say, for example, you come across this word, you have to be able now to rewind and take away the extra letters of the word that you're saying, take it back to its root, and then find out what the root meaning is to have an understanding of this. Okay? To get a deeper understanding. Wallahu alam. All right, so we have come to the end of today's class. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين أشكركم على مطالعتكم. We thank you for viewing, all of you online. And inshallah في الأسبوع القادم سوف نستمر إلى نوع آخر من الفعل الثلاثي المزيد. Inshallah, next week we will be looking at another example of a different type of verb, triliteral base with extra letters. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.